And today in 3 easy minutes, I'm going to teach you what your responsibilities are in a time of disaster. Get educated. Knowing specific plans in your community, school, or place of work are essential to your emergency preparedness. Make sure you know all of your emergency sounds and signals and what they mean. Have main and alternate evacuation plans. And if you have young ones, make sure you practice these plans with them so that they know how to execute them confidently. It's time to create a plan. A family plan needs to have some of the following: escape routes and evacuation plans, a family communication plan, a utility shutoff and safety plan, a collection spot and copies of all insurance and vital records, safety skills such as CPR or first aid, and it needs to cater to special needs of your family like children, disabled, pets, or the elderly. Creating a plan is one of the most important responsibilities of a citizen during times of disaster. Make sure you have both main and alternate plans, and consider the type of disasters that your community faces, and think about what type of hazards come along with these disasters, and make sure you incorporate them into your plan. Remember, a plan isn't just paperwork. It needs to be practiced and rehearsed. It's time to get prepared. In the worst kind of disasters, they could take first responders in emergency response 72 hours to reach you and your family. That's why it's important to create a disaster supply kit so that you and your family can last 72 hours before help arrives. Now, there's a lot of advice in what to put inside of your 72-hour survival self-sustainment kit, and a lot of that depends on what type of disasters or hazards are prone to your area. But I've kind of narrowed it down to a few very simple items. Food that's non-perishable up to 72 hours. Water. This is a first aid kit. Very basic first aid kit. Some bandages, gauze. Cash. I have a multi-tool or a Swiss Army knife. A fire starter. Make sure that is also waterproofed. A signaling device. We have a glow strap. You could also use a whistle or a mirror. And a flashlight. Water, you're going to want to have at least enough for 1 gallon per day for each member of your family. So this one water bottle is definitely not enough for me and Mr. Fox. The same goes with food. And this is just the bare minimum. Look into what hazards are prone to your area and start with these and then build on that for the specific types of disasters you could possibly expect. Some very important themes to remember when disaster strikes is to stay calm and remain safe. Once you and your family orient yourselves after the disaster has taken place, seek shelter and then seek evacuation. Your shelter after a disaster depends on the type of hazards that were created out of that disaster. Consider a place of shelter alternate to your home in case it becomes unsafe or it was destroyed in the disaster. Make sure your supply kit is as portable as possible so that you can take it with you or grab it quickly in case of disaster. And also consider your plan if you're not at home when the disaster strikes. The last key responsibility of a citizen during times of disaster is to protect property. Make sure you protect your property by purchasing insurance and preparing yourself financially for the burdens that follow a disaster. Also make sure you protect your home and business by preparing it physically for the damages, such as boarding up your windows if you know a hurricane's coming. I'm Preparation Pat, and when disaster strikes, will you be ready?